Hello, fellow Toastmasters. Dynamic leadership and changing traits. In this series, this is the new episode. It is about negotiations and collaboration. We understand in project management lifecycle or any leadership, negotiations and collaboration is extremely important. In this podcast, we will go over various tools and techniques about it. The rule is we will not go to the books because books you can always refer. This is the regular talk between us. What is the most important part of human body, or what is most powerful part of the human body? You will say hands because hands actually fight. If you give some weapon in the hand, we fight. Some will say brain or something else. I would say most powerful part of the human body is tongue. Several wars are started or stopped with tongue, with the movement of tongue. Things are make or break with only one body part, tongue. If you go and study the millions of wars humanity has fought from antiquity till now, we think that those brave soldiers go fight wars and one side wins. We have to always remember wars are not fought on the ground always, war ground. Most of the time, they are fought in the war room. Those diplomats, they negotiate the outcome of the war even before it starts. Tongue, do you understand? That's the importance. They decide the outcome of the war, even the wars are not even fought. They can change the outcome of the war and regardless the efforts of the brave soldiers who are actually doing it without taking any weapons in their hand. So that's how important it is, the negotiations. We will not go exactly into the wars or the political because there are several kind of negotiations are there. We will try to stick to the corporate and the business and the project world. And we will see how the AI concepts come into the picture. Understand the wars. Even we don't want to go there, but I want to give that example. So we fight wars and something comes at the end. Somebody wins, somebody loses. And then what we do? We make a treaty. Two sides will come, they will make some kind of treaty, and then they will see how to do the next set of actions. Now we have AI in our hand, the artificial intelligence. We have several machine learning models available. If you feed them all the parameters, without fighting war, they will tell you what happens under what situation and what you need to do. What are the probabilities of the outcome? So if you feed them the parameters like your strength, what is the sentiment behind the war, why it is starting, or what is the price of the oil, and who is the dominant in the region, give all the parameters, and then it will tell you that without fighting war or without doing any standoff, it will tell you under this situation, If the oil prices are high, then you will win. If the oil prices are low, you will win. Or if you win, this is the outcome of the region. The region politics will change this way or that way. You don't need to fight war anymore, right? So we have to use the AI to negotiate. So without fighting war, we can do this with negotiation. This same concept will apply to the project world. It is said life is a war. If you go to the philosophy, they will say life is a war, some kind of war. Let's call life is a project. Simple. Everything what we do, consider that as a project. And we can see how we can negotiate and collaborate for the best outcome. It is always important what you say and how you say. So that drives the negotiation. So if you look at our daily lives or look at like our corporate leaders or our presidents, start with say Carter, Reagan, President Clinton, President Obama, and the 45th and 46th president. Everybody has a different style of negotiation and it achieves the outcome. So it's not necessary one size, one way is better than other. Those are different styles. In the project life cycle, now let's understand how we do the negotiations and how we do the collaboration. When the project sponsor starts a project or conceptualize a project, he will create a project charter and a project manager will be assigned to it. So the negotiation of a project manager starts from there. Once he understands what is the project about, he has to build his strategy, how he is going to negotiate with the stakeholders. Project is nothing, not only about the resources, materials, and outcomes, software code, or some hardware material. It's not like that. Negotiation, very important. When project has been initialized in the initiation phase, the stakeholders are identified. Very important concept. Identification of the stakeholders. How many stakeholders are there and what is their influence on the project? Project manager creates an influence matrix that this stakeholder influences this part of the project and how to negotiate with it. So he defines a strategy, how he's going to negotiate so that the project will become success. Depending upon the influence of the stakeholder, if he is not negotiated correctly, project will fail, most certainly. Next phases, let's go to the next phases, apart from stakeholder management. If you go to the integration or like planning phase, in the planning phase, project manager needs to negotiate with several key parts of the functional organization to negotiate the resources, negotiate the time, negotiate the scope, depending upon the budget, flexibility, he has to negotiate the budget. He has to give back and forth with the sponsor and the stakeholders and negotiate with them. Under this situation, these are the best outcomes. So very important concept. It doesn't stop there. Let's go to the next phases. In the execution phase of the project, we have to make sure that resources have been aligned correctly, work breakdown structure is correct, and in order the system to work, we have to negotiate all the external factors, stakeholders, and everything. To give an example, suppose you are, like if you are running a financial bank project, you must have You must negotiate with the external agencies like Wall Street, various mutual fund owners. If your organization is part of that, your financial institution is part of that. So all these are external stakeholders, which are not exactly part of the project, but they can influence it. So things doesn't stop only at a stakeholder. You have to go more than that as well, depending upon what kind of project you are doing. And that will decide the success of the project. Let's talk about the next phases. In the risk analysis phase, we have project manager must negotiate, identify all the risks and negotiate them. Risk can be of mother nature or external factors, as we just discussed. So if it is a mother nature, like if we are going to get a hurricane or some natural problems will be there, then project manager or entrepreneur has to make sure that there are alternate solution has been negotiated. If one site is stopped, then he has to make sure the other site is up. Or if there are like external agencies are influencing the project, then we have to buy the insurance. So the best rates for the insurance needs to be negotiated. When you are handling the team, negotiations is the best. There are various theories are there about how you do team management. So team will be formed, stormed, normed, and performed. All the phases looks good, but every phase is associated with how project manager negotiate best within the team. Teams works with the motivation. There are motivation theories are there. Theory X, theory Y, self-actualization by Maslow's theory. Project manager needs to negotiate with team members. Most of the time, we understand that team member may not know his goals. So what about the self-actualization? Because he doesn't know what exactly is the goals. Several times this situation has happened. Or some people definitely know their goals. Project manager needs to negotiate both the situation. If the goals are not clear or not understood, with negotiation, he can align the personal goal with the organization goal or the project goal. So personal goal align with the project goal, align with the organization goal. This is how they assigned it. Every phase comes with a negotiation. We have to, when negotiation happening, basic rule or very important rule is the negotiator must understand. In this case, this is the project manager. He must understand. We have to show the team you are caring about him or you are caring about his needs. When the team understands, the project manager is trying to negotiate, caring about him, he'll reciprocate the same way, and that's the best outcome comes. Let's take another example. Now I'm going to go to the real life example. If you go to the tech companies or tech enterprises, say Google. Now the Google executives are hired by the Google, and the Google will think that their intellectual ideas and everything is their property. But some people have extra brains. We have to always understand that. They will say, you did not hire my entire brain. You have hired this much part of it. So how the situation has been handled? This is the real-time examples. So certain group of people which probably has extra ideas, extra brain, or whatever you want to call it, they go out, they create their own product and sell it to the Google. If they stay inside the Google, then they will not produce that, because they will say, this is not, you are not, I'm not here for giving these ideas to you. So this is how they handle the motivation. So negotiation has been handled such a way that if you have extra brains or extra ideas, create that product and sell it to us. That's what the negotiation has been done. You can clearly watch that. Don't go to our competitors, sell it to us. That's another way of negotiation. So when you are doing project management, every time, including schedule, budget, timelines, resourcing, stakeholders, everything has a negotiation. If you go to Project Management Institute, they have defined for each phase, there are what is the input for that phase, or what is the input for the process, what are the tools and techniques, and what is the outcome. They call it ITTO, input, tools, technique, and outcome. Negotiation will be always part of it, some way, another way. So we saw from the initiation phase to planning, scheduling, scoping, risk management, quality, team management, we saw the negotiations are there. Let me come to the next phase, quality management. Please do not negotiate anything with the quality. Quality needs to be 100%. We know our admiral of the space, our great inspirator, Elon Musk. He did not compromise a thing or negotiated a thing on the Tesla quality, irrespective of he's missing the budget or he's losing his share market. Quality is only thing, please do not negotiate. That should be 100% as agreed. All right. So now now let's go to how we do the negotiation. Naturally, if you go to the books, there are plenty of materials there how to negotiate. You can go to the successful leaders, successful presidents, successful corporates. They will tell you how they negotiated the things, how they handled the things in different ways. And now we have the AI with us, which tells us how we negotiate, because we know the various factors and what is the probability of outcome. If you feed that factors to the model, we will understand, okay, what these are the outcomes and these are the possibilities. So that helps us in our negotiation. So we will not go into the books. Rather, we'll go from our antiquity, ancient knowledge, how we do that. First and foremost, negotiation starts with communication. So first tool, how we do negotiation, adjust your communication. We know in history, and at the start of the podcast, I gave the examples. Tongue is very important. Communication is very important. That's the backbone of any negotiation. What you say is important, but how you say is important. That will guide your negotiations. So if you see in the history, or like go to the ancient time till applicable now, like if you in earlier ancient history, there were like a kings and dictators. So what you say, if they don't like, irrespective of if it's good or bad, the outcome will be you will understand what happens. So not always what you say, but how you say, or under the circumstances, how you will present it. Very important. Even today, when the CEO handles, like CEO's main job is handle the Wall Street lads. We know that. And there's a movie, Wolf on the Wall Street. We know that, like how the negotiation or how all the agencies are there and how to negotiate. Then only you will be successful. In 2008, When the 150 years old financial firm called Lehman Brothers was falling, it was told that it was just a technicality. They were defaulted for $25 billion payment, and that affects the credit rating and it goes into the loop. And other than bankruptcy filing, the firm cannot sustain. At that time, there was a presidential election was going on. It was even discussed. If it was supported in a certain way, the firm would have been stayed. But thing happened politically and the firm went down. Why I'm giving that example? Look at the COVID time. In COVID time, all the transportation was stopped. Real estate was stopped. Almost everything was stopped, but nothing go to bankruptcy because it was supported in a certain way, the right way. That government take the insurance or liability, and the credit rating did not go down, and things stayed. So in 2008, for certain firms could have been saved at that time, but due to political instability or stable situation at that time, they did not do it. So how they negotiate, it was not negotiated. They might have tried, but it did not work. So how you negotiate, what are the circumstances, that will define your outcome. In 2008, I'm not sure how it was negotiated, but the housing prices were like collapsed and it went down the entire market. In COVID times, now if you see no business real estate is being used, why business real estate market did not fall? It should collapse. It should reel down, not even flat. It should flat. Because domestic housing market should go up and business real estate should go down if you see the real circumstances. But it has been negotiated well with the correct agencies and it did not go down. So that's the example. So first part of the how you do the negotiation, first is communication and what you say, how you say, and where in what circumstances, how you handle the political things. That's the first part. Technique number 2. You have to, after like a communication or handling the political things, second part of the negotiation is actually it costs. Sometimes you have to buy the insurance. If you want to have certain things negotiated well, it costs. So it costs management come with it. So that's the second technique. You have to take, if you want to avoid the wars, probably you have to have a certain kind of warheads with you or your army needs to be set, then automatically next guy won't attack you. Or you should have your financial situation or your trade deals were handled such a way that war won't happen. So it costs. Another great example. For the first 13 colonies, there was a bloody war. And that covers probably 20% of the land. Rest of the 80% land there was no war because it was negotiated. It was negotiated very well. Best examples. Entire Alaska was negotiated, entire Louisiana Purchase, entire California was negotiated. So always, it cost was associated with it. At that time, we think that cost is very less today, but at that time it must have been costed pretty good. So the negotiation can cost you, but outcomes will be best. So that's the second technique. Third technique is, it's a coercive way. Reward and punishment concepts. So the negotiator tells you that if you do this, then these are the consequences. So better, let's come to the table and put your, what are you bringing to the table? Let us know. Because when there is some action involved, when somebody understand, if you do things, then your share, because your shares are also part of the mutual fund as same as your competitor, then they won't do certain things in the corporate world. So the negotiation can go with that. So that's what CEO does. So CEO, now Apple CEO or Google CEO, because they are such a huge CEOs, I mean, they're handling such a huge portfolios. So they make sure that Apple make sure how Apple is running on Samsung, or I mean, they both go very collaborative way. Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, they have to go together. Facebook, Twitter, they have shake hands. Toyota, Ford, all are shaking hands. They have each other's share taken. And if you go something, then coercive action. I mean, you go down, we go. I mean, this will go down. So reward and punishment concept. That's the third technique of the negotiation. Fourth technique. That's the diplomacy. I mean, not everybody likes that, but that's what I was giving the example at the first time. That even you have a brave soldiers and your side is important. I mean, your side is more powerful than the other side, but we saw the other side win because that's a diplomacy. Or in today's world, like the tech executive of neural AI will go to the open AI, that kind of thing. So they negotiated that. So they will say, Elon, you are in the space, you are in the, you are running our cars, you are boring, you are doing boring our roads. Okay, give the OpenAI to us. So, I mean, they put the diplomacy and then they defeated him. So those are the like ancient techniques. Communication, cost, like you have to purchase certain things, by coercive action, or by the diplomacy. So those are the four things of the negotiation. As a project manager or as a leader, even it can be corporate leader or project leader, you always make sure you take a goal that you are negotiating for the best of the project. So for your life as well, if your life is a project, then you have to negotiate the thing which will go best. And as I explained, the best negotiation will happen when you are negotiating with the other party. You let them know that I'm caring for you. See, I'm thinking about you. This will be good for you. Then he reciprocates. So that's the win-win situation will happen in your negotiation. All other situation, I mean, they are in the books. You can go and study them. I mean, somebody will tell there is a scorched earth concept. So you burn everything. I mean, I'm not suggesting that, or I don't want to discuss about those kind of things. Win-win is the best thing. So, and that will produce the best outcome. When the negotiations are best, it can create best collaboration and the best projects, best outcome come to it. We have to negotiate with our life, our resources, our natural resources, our Mother Earth to the best of that will be best of humanity, and the life as we know today will be survived. Thank you. And do let me know your feedback, how you like it.